The proposal is set on three types of space for exhibitions. The first is a container. The second is its space that is defined by its content, a case, if you will. And a third, it's a space or a building that in itself is art or the content, which occupies an urban space. This last one is out of scale for a workshop, so we're going to focus on these two. So, in order for the students to propose or to design a space, we have a methodology that makes users interact with space. And we need to create this dialogue. With that said, in order to create this dialogue, the methodology states certain parameters: interaction, functionality, comfort, and content. Within these parameters, there are subparameters. Let's say in interaction, we'll have interaction between content, space. We'll have content, user. In functionality, we'll have a set space and a multi-meaningful space that can change. In comfort, we'll have, let's say, 100% artificial comfort, which instates an interior space, 100% natural comfort, which instates an exterior space, and a 50-50 space, which is a interior exterior space, and content, which is self-sustained, or space dependent. We could also build some other subparameters, but with these subparameters, we could have different routes in which the students could go from space to users to define certain spaces. So let's say I would want a content that interacts with space, that is a set space that cannot change, that is completely interior, and all comfort is defined by artificial elements, and its content is space dependent. Yeah. Let's say I would have another route that it's also content that has an interaction within itself of content and space, that it's multi-meaningful or it could change, that its comfort is defined by 50-50 interior qualities and exterior qualities, and its content is self-sustained. There are several routes we could build, and several parameters we can define. So with that said, we would say that with an interaction, to define those subparameters, we would have, let's say, a menu of examples or references, yeah, in which we could evaluate them. Let's say we have a universe of examples or references, and these are, let's say, content space based with an interaction, content user based with interaction, and another parameter we could define. Let's say we would define these categories and say which of these references are better by defining relations within themselves. We would say a far apart relationship where there's no interaction between content and space, for example, or content user, or there's a far relation, or there's a relation by contact which is dependable, or there is an interaction that is completely dependable, or it's one. So I would say, if for example, if I choose a reference that it's constant, that has an interaction between content and space, and I consider the best reference to be the ones that have a complete interaction within them, I should be able to evaluate those references and say these are the best ones. In that order, I would take the route and take, for example, the best ones, the route that are the best ones right here. This method can be applied to each of these parameters. We just have to make up or invent some kind of categorization or grading system in order to establish which of the references better apply to my route and to the desire of my exposition or my exposition space. Thank you.